back, baby. Alright guys, thanks for checking in. Been MIA for a little while. My wife and I had our first baby, so that took up, or still is, taking up, a lot of time and priority and what have you. April 29th he was born, and yeah, so that's why you haven't seen me or heard from me in a little while. But we're back in the shop now, and I'm just preparing the car for the No Prep race at New Oxford Dragway on July 29th. That's this Saturday. I got a few days to get ready for that. But first I wanted to update you guys on what's going on with Ron, and also the results from the No Time race that we had on Father's Day in June, which I'm late getting this video edited and up to you guys, but better late than never, I guess, right? So first things first is the over the winter updates. I think my last couple videos were about installing the anti-roll bar, the shift solenoid, and I've got a couple other updates I didn't actually make videos on just because we had a lot going on. I just couldn't find time to edit and take videos and whatever. So the shift solenoid, you guys saw that already. Air shift shiftnoid uses a little Mac valve style solenoid to actuate it with the CO2. And the Rhodes race cars, I think it's 1.5" diameter solid anti-roll bar install. So both of those I had videos on last fall or winter, but never got to test them. So I went into this No Time race completely untested as usual. I did add a lot of lead ballast. I got a big chunk of 108-pound chunk of lead. I don't know what it was out of, but a guy ordered a cam kit from me locally and hooked me up with this big honking chunk of lead that I melted down into various shapes and sizes and stuff, different weights or whatever. And I mounted an ammo can in the trunk on the driver's side to kind of store some of that lead in. And I also have some lead in the parachute, the bumper bar, the bar that goes across behind the bumper. It's like the chute mount. I got some lead shot and I filled that tube with that. And I got some lead hidden in other places too, but I'm not going to reveal that just yet. Maybe this fall or something when I go back into winter upgrades, upgrade season, we call it. Right now the car weighs, as it sits, about 3130, so we're a good 170 pounds, I think, or 160 pounds heavier than we were last year. And all of that was an effort to get some more rear bias. The car is sitting at about 51% on the front, 49 on the rear. Of course, all that weight isn't lead. Some of it's my belly. I got a bigger parachute this year. I was just a little worried. No, I wasn't really worried. That one slowed me down fine, that little Deist or whatever brand it is. But it was getting kind of chewed up. The little deployment parachute that pulls the rest of it out was looking pretty threadbare, so I figured we might as well just change it now and get the bigger one that I see like 95% of small tire guys using the chute that's on it now. I can't remember the brand. I'll tell you what it is in a minute. The only other upgrade for this year was some new slicks. I got some new Mickey Thompson stiff wall slicks, small tire, 28-10-5 with the tube inside. Same tire we ran last year, just a new set. The last set I think had 35 or so passes on them. I ended up selling them to another No Time guy up here for like $200. So kind of paid for the pair of used ones paid for one of my new ones. So I figure if I can do that every time I offload a set of slicks, then we'll be sitting pretty good. So, all right. So first round, qualifying round. I had no power in it because I actually was a little worried with the new weight bias that it was going to wheelie, which the car has never really whispered of trying to stand up on the bumper, but I was a little concerned about that. So I think I only had 14 pounds of dome pressure on it out the back. So the car might have been making, 17 or 18 PSI boost down track, and it was like a long, slow ramp in, like 2 seconds in. So I think it went 116 miles an hour, and I want to say it went 615 or 620 for an ET, and it felt really fast because I hadn't driven the car in 9 months. But obviously the slip, I was like, oh man, that's garbage. But for what it's done prior, not saying 620 cars are slow or anything, just for this and the time and effort I have into it, it goes quicker than that. But it hooked and it went straight. It didn't really try to steer any left or right. And the weight bias, I remember making that pass and being like, wow, it's like driving a Cadillac down the track. It was very smooth, very stable. I did not throw the parachute. Obviously, I was going not very fast anyways, but let me show you the first pass now in the car, and I got some exterior video too from some of my guys. But so you see there, that first pass, it actually came down off of the chip on the two-step. I ended up figuring out that it was just like I didn't have enough timing in it. And when I pull timing down to make boost and kind of get it to bang and pop a little bit, I was pulling too much. And it came off the chip and kind of like sat there. It was making some boost, but obviously not ideal for it to be doing that. And slowly through these passes, I did get that figured out. But anyways, so pretty uneventful pass. You see it blows all that like rusty cloud dust crap out as it sat all winter. But other than that, it was like pretty smooth A to B pass. The log, I actually thought on the data log that the wideband had gone bad. And so I brought a spare with me. I threw that in there. And went into round one. They only gave us one qualifying pass. I thought there was supposed to be two, but round one, the chip draw, which I didn't get on video, I drew John Coffin, who we draw each other every freaking time. It seems like first round or second round every event. So anyway, I turned it way up. Well, not way up, but like more than it was. round one, we did lose. John Coffin did nudge me out. I think I did tree him a little bit, and we were pretty even at the 60 foot, and then he just kind of ran away from me. The car did go a little left, and it did get out of the groove. We got out of the groove a little there, and it kind of induced a little bit of spin, but I was able to drive through it. But once again, like the car with the lead ballast in the back was super smooth and controllable and felt really good. So I was really happy with it, and I think I ended up every pass in this video, I ended up loosening the rebound on the front end so that it would kind of separate a little quicker. And yeah, so we bought back in. Actually, James Bowden bought me back in. So we went into round two, and I drew Phil Netto. He's got the gray Fox body, twin turbo LS, and yeah, I had right lane again. So going into that, I gave it even more boost and a little shorter ramp and a little bit looser on the front rebound. And yeah, here we go. So first thing with that round two pass, the third pass of the day, it stayed on the chip that time on the two-step, and that was because instead of pulling, I think I was pulling 16 degrees on the chip the first two passes, which worked all year last year. Don't ask me why now it all of a sudden doesn't work, but I pulled 12 instead, and it sat there, so it was perfect. Left with the right amount of boost that we wanted, the nice quick ramp, and it stuck, and it drove a little bit left again, but nothing I wasn't able to drive through. You can see the rear separates good, and the front is a little slow coming up. I don't know if I had loosened it a little more, if it would have made a better pass or not. It's kind of like one of those trial and error things. So I do know, obviously, Phil was sleeping bad on that light. I think he was a full second behind me in reaction time. And I remember sitting there being like, wow, this is taking forever, like, because I went in first. And I next time I'll have him going first, but it seemed like it was taking forever. And then when that green light hit, I was on the button. So I had a good reaction time, and he kind of slept. He definitely slept. And I guess everybody was saying he was chasing me, he was running me down. So after looking at that pass again, like the mile an hour was down like 5 miles an hour from last year. So I was looking at the logs, I'm like, man, this O2 sensor seems like it's like something's wrong. So I just left it alone, and I made the closed loop a little bit slower to react, thinking that would help. It was like, again, it's got the Holley HP on it. I only have 3 passes on it at this point, so I was thinking like it's a difference in hardware or something in the tune or whatever. Later on, I found out that the Terminator uses a completely different O2 sensor. So for anybody watching this, don't run the Terminator X wideband sensor if you update to an HP or an odometer. It's a totally different sensor. I had no idea. The harness is the same. I thought the O2 sensor was the same. It's not. So now, so I did this whole race with the wrong O2 sensor, and it was not reading correctly and staying in open loop and whatever. So thank God the tune was close and whatever, but it was not happy. I think that's why I'm down on mile per hour. But at any rate, we got the round 2 win. We're going into round 3, and I drew Christian Evans. I don't even know what the heck is the power plant in the car. I know it's a turbo Fox body, and he came up from Massachusetts, I believe. Car was going good at like A to B all day, his was, and I found out that he had one tune in it, and like he went all the way, like he did good. So, you know, props to whoever built that tune up for him, and like it just was a good A to B tune for sure for Oxford for that day. It was a good race, round 3. It was a great race. Round 3 was a good race. We left the exact same time. I could not get I went to hit my GoPro remote to start recording, and the GoPro was off. So I tried to power the GoPro on, and that takes, you know, 5, 6, 8, 10 seconds, and then start recording. And I couldn't do it in time, so I don't have the in-car video of that, and I'm pretty sad about that because I think he got me by like a car length. It was a pretty good race. I wish I knew just for my own sake, like the in-car view, but I don't have it. But yeah, he did nudge us out. Once again, I'm looking at the video now. I was pretty straight, it looks like. I went a tiny bit left, but I did have a little bit of funny business trying to drive through mid-track, it looks like. I did have a ton of boost in it, like 30 or 35 pounds of boost or something stupid, which now I know is completely ignorant because that O2 sensor was not even reading correctly. I don't know if it was lean or rich or what, but we were down on mile per hour, way up on boost, and it survived. The car's in one piece. As far as I know, nothing's hurt, and it's got the right NTK, the nice NTK Holley sensor in it now. So yeah, that's kind of a wrap on that race. We went to round 3, got nudged out. Christian ended up going to the final against John Coffin, and I think what happened was he did not get fully staged, and it red lit him, even though the full stage light was lit, because it's an incandescent filament in the bulb or something, and they were saying if it had been LED, it would have been flickering. It timed him out. He red lit. John Coffin left the line in the right lane, and about 60 feet out, his MSD ignition box, he said, it ended up being that was the failure, but it backfired like through the intake and had this big, huge, flaming, crazy explosion, like nitrous backfire or something. And yeah, so it was a good event, and I learned a lot. And I think if I had got one more pass, I would have taken the boost ramp out and the launch retard out and turned it way up in the first, second and a half, and loosen the front end a little bit more, and just see if Burgundy would carry the front tires to the 60 or 100 feet or something, because it was looking pretty snappy. Obviously, I wouldn't have done that if I had known I had the wrong O2 sensor, but yeah, hindsight's always 20/20, right? So here we are, back in the shop, doing all upgrades, scaling it, turning some knobs, hitting some buttons. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.